Now at 9, Pittsburgh community members gather to discuss the current state of the housing market and changes that need to be made.
Construction on Block 22 is finished, but what do the business owners think about that? I have all that and more coming up.
And Southwest Missouri sees an increase in burn bans. We look into how they're enforced.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
From residents to realtors to city leaders, Pittsburgh community members gathered this afternoon to focus on housing needs. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Today's meeting served as an open house forum for the city and consulting firm Novogradek to gather information, community input on new housing needs for Pittsburgh. It's been 10 years since Pittsburgh last completed a housing needs assessment, and a lot has changed. City leaders asked participants to describe the current state of the housing market. They discussed housing-related needs and specific barriers preventing Pittsburgh's ability to meet those needs. Now, one barrier, the current cost to build.
There's a problem with new construction because it's very expensive. A lot of buyers want into a new home but just can't quite pay the price that's required.
The consulting firm Novogradek plans to take feedback from tonight's open house and conduct surveys on local housing stock and eventually put together a new housing assessment recommendation. Well, the scaffolding along Block 22 in Pittsburgh is no longer wrapped around certain businesses. It was put there to prevent accidents from falling cement. Now, businesses say it looks much better and customers are returning. But that wasn't the case during construction. KOAM's Lonnie Walton takes us to downtown Pittsburgh for the story.
In the month of September, my business was down 53%, which is a lot.
Melissa Lewis is the owner of Poppy May. She says she's got a lot of help with her business during the Block 22 construction, but she says she's still suffering.
No one can make up for the loss that we experienced as small business owners with that much going on.
Co-owner of Toast, Roger Horton, says some customers didn't even know they were open.
You see all that scaffolding up, unless you see 5 people walk in, why would you know it's open, So
not only did it put strain on a lot of businesses, parking was another issue.
The hassle of, I got to find a parking space around the corner because all the spaces are filled up with construction work.
Students who live on a block say they love the open space.
Feels pretty good because parking's back and everything.
But now it's open and the sunlight's shining down on the open door.
And Lewis leaves us with a few words of wisdom.
You want small businesses to stay in your community, you have to support them. You have to shop them.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, Lewis says she plans to participate in various community activities to help bring more business to her store. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at weather.
And it definitely turned out to be another nice one for us today. Temperatures fantastic across the region. Actually, a few notches, several notches below where we were yesterday. 66 in Joplin, also in Pittsburgh. Temperatures, though, very pleasant outside right now. Most of us are sitting low to mid 60s, still near 70 once you get into our southern counties. Light northeasterly wind kind of kicking in. It's going to stay kind of breezy tonight, and those winds will pick back up once again as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. We have clear skies right now, but we are watching some clouds developing in a weak little wave just to our west. So later on tonight, we'll start to get some clouds increasing across the region, and a few little tiny spotty showers. Not a huge deal, but some light little spotty showers kind of pushing through late tonight into tomorrow morning. But thunderstorm chances tomorrow night. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. The ongoing drought in the 4 states has led to a number of burn bans to hopefully cut down on grass and wildfires. As Nicolette Zangara reports, it's gotten to the point where one Southwest Missouri county has changed its responses to wildfires in order to keep them under control.
We're at the point where it's so dry, Polk County has changed our protocols so multiple fire departments respond on each grass fires because we are so dry and so big so fast.
Fire Chief Brent Watkins says it's more than just loss of property or, in worse cases, life. It's also using resources from other departments to keep these fires contained.
The burned area you see behind me is located near an entrance ramp near Aldrich Road in Bolivar. This happened on Tuesday. The fire department is not sure what caused the fire, but all it takes with vegetation this dry is the flick of a cigarette butt out the window that hasn't fully been put out yet. That's what starts and spreads fires like this.
It's not like we have green grass and just the leaves burning. They're both dry, so they're both going to burn very fast.
Missouri state law says in order for a county to issue a burn ban, the drought monitor must be D2, a severe drought, or worse. Additionally, the county commission must contact the state's Division of Fire Safety. These regulations are very different for fire protection districts in smaller communities.
If you're a fire protection district, like a tax-based fire protection district or a municipal fire department, there's no need to contact our office. Those organizations have the power to enact burn bans anytime they want.
If you violate the burn ban, you could receive up to a Class A misdemeanor.
According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, all of the southwest Missouri counties in our viewing area are sitting in either a D2 severe drought or D3 extreme drought classification. Well, the organization One Joplin today hosted a poverty simulation. It gave anyone in the community an opportunity to experience a simulated month of living in a low-income situation. In the simulation, every 15 minutes represents a week of living in poverty. The participants are given a family situation, and based on that, they have to navigate everyday life like affording groceries and transportation.
We hope this simulation helps people to just have a better understanding and a level of empathy for individuals that are working really hard but are in a low income situation, and that our policymakers, our employers, our decision makers, that they may be able to take a step back and ask questions.
And there were more than 80 participants today, and going forward, organizers hope to make it an annual event. Well, the Joplin Health Department held a free car seat safety class today. They taught the class how to choose the right car seat for your child's height and how to choose a safe car seat brand. The class was open to all parents, grandparents, and caregivers to learn the correct way to place a child in a car seat, especially in the winter months when a child may be bundled up.
Taking off those jackets before they put them in the car seats and the seat belts, and then if they're cold they can put a blanket up over top of it, but just not having that coat with all that padding up against the seat. We want the seat belt to be directly right up against their clothing close.
And during the winter months, Doty recommends putting the child in the car seat harness and then putting their coat on backwards on the outside of the harness. Well, coming up, a quarter pound of danger.
One person is dead and at least another 49 people are sick after an E. coli outbreak at McDonald's restaurants around the country. I'm Kelly Saberi at McDonald's headquarters in Chicago. I'll explain what the CDC says we know so far after this.
McDonald's is dealing with an E. coli outbreak believed to be linked to onions in quarter pounders. Now, cases are reported in 10 states, including Kansas and Missouri. Fox News correspondent Kelly Saberi is at McDonald's headquarters in Chicago with the latest.
One person is dead and at least another 49 people are sick, 10 of which have had to be hospitalized. We're told that the culprit is the chain's famous quarter pounder sandwich and that the outbreak may have originated from the slivered onions that go in the sandwich. At this point, we're told that the patties and the onions that go in this item only go in the quarter pounder and not the other beef products that the chain sells. Let's take a look at where people have gotten sick. Oregon, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, and Wisconsin. The CDC notes that the outbreak may go beyond these states. The patient who died, we're being told, is older. The CDC has not specified how old, and that the patient lived in Colorado. It's unclear if they had any underlying conditions. Another patient developed hemolytic uremic syndrome. This is a serious condition that can cause kidney failure. In an interview on Wednesday morning, McDonald's USA President Joe Erlinger said the quarter pounder has been removed from the menu in specific areas. Still, other beef products, including their cheeseburger, hamburger, Big Mac, McDouble, and the double cheeseburger, will be available as we're told they use a different onion product.
On a day like today, given the news we've had over the last 24 hours, that's really our focus. And, we're confident that we'll see our way through this and we'll restore confidence for the American consumer to come to McDonald's.
2 years ago, McDonald's experienced another E. coli outbreak. 6 kids out of Alabama had confirmed symptoms consistent with E. coli poisoning. We're told 4 of those kids had to be hospitalized, this after eating chicken McNuggets. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later an election security warning.
The Director of National Intelligence issues a new warning about foreign enemies sowing distrust in the election results. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today. Temperatures fantastic, lower 80s for afternoon highs. Not the record highs like we saw yesterday, but we'll make a run at that once again for us tomorrow. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking at downtown Joplin. All right, temperature is pretty comfortable. 62 in Nevada, 65 in Monette, 68 in Grove. Neodesha is sitting at 66 degrees, 7th and Rangeline, currently sitting at 66. Northerly winds at about 5 to 10. Kind of breezy for us today. Those northeasterly winds kind of kicking in, 5 to 10 to 15 miles per hour, but some gusts a little bit higher than that. Stays breezy tonight, but those gusts start to crank up tomorrow out of the south, 25, 30, 35 miles per hour. The reason being, we have a cold front that is going to be rolling in tomorrow night, so the wind's picking up ahead of that, and then of course our pressure will drop behind it and the winds will switch back toward the north. So it is going to be windy on Thursday. Here comes that cold front Friday. Winds come out of the north, and in return, that will cool us down a little bit Friday, also on Saturday. So your wind forecast, kind of a knocked over trash can situation. I need to put the trash out tonight, so I'm glad I did this graphic as we go into Thursday. All right, rain chances. Very slight chance for a few random showers late tonight into tomorrow morning, and then some scattered thunderstorms pop up tomorrow night into Friday morning. But the days are mainly going to be dry. Looking outside right now, not a whole bunch going on. If we widen the vantage point, here's this weak little wave. You can see a few clouds. Now with it, a couple little random showers will try to pop up late tonight. You can see a couple little spotty little showers popping up. Here's 5:30 in the morning. Let's go to about 8 in the morning. Still some hit and miss showers by noon into lower 80s, and then we go into the upper 80s. So we're going to be near record highs once again. Here comes our cold front tomorrow night. Check out the storms. Moving into our western counties, some of these storms could be strong, possibly low-grade severe, should weaken as they push in. They're going to be scattered, but we'll have scattered thunderstorms. Here's midnight pushing through the region. Not everybody's going to get rain, but probably 40-50% of us, so half of us, which is pretty good. And then any showers we do have rotate out. Then once we get to Friday afternoon, it looks great. Partly sunny skies, high temps into the upper 70s by Friday. All right, here's your day planner on Thursday. A couple random showers in the morning, 62. 81 by noon, high temp, 87. Let's jump into four-state Friday night high school football. Fantastic football weather. Temperatures into the 60s, and we will be on the dry side. Near record highs tomorrow, morning shower. Scattered thunderstorms tomorrow night. 78 Friday, 74 Saturday. Back to 80 on Sunday. And then rain chances back in the second half of next week, which does include Halloween. So we'll keep our eyes on that as we get a little bit closer.
Might need to figure out how to incorporate an umbrella or like a rain jacket.
We'll see.
Into my
we just
costume.
need rain. So
interesting. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, a Halloween rule change.
A new change in Missouri means sex offenders no longer have to put out no trick-or-treating signs this Halloween. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
The Joplin Regional Airport today held a full-scale emergency response exercise. The event simulated a real-life emergency and lasted several hours. KOAM photojournalist Ty Park shows us why organizers say this training puts them on the same level of safety as a bigger metropolitan airport.
Today we're doing our full-scale mass casualty. It's one of the requirements that we need to maintain our Part 139 certification so that we can have commercial traffic here at Joplin. The event is that there's going to be, the plane takes off, it's having some engine problems and some hydraulic issues, and so they contact the tower and do an alert 2. That means that there's a plane in the air and that there's a problem, that then the fire department can get on the way and be waiting here when they get down rather than crash and then have to wait for people. So if the plane's not in too dire distress, it'll circle, get all the firemen and ambulances, everything in place, and then be here hoping that it's going to land safely. In this incident, we're planning that it's not going to. It's going to go down, but we're going to be here staging. We're going to go out. We're going to deal with the simulated fire around the wing. It's a practice so that if there are some issues in this, we find the issues now before there actually is an event. Like, you know, are we not being able to communicate with the tower? Stuff like that. Like, different things come up, and so we try to practice these fake mass casualties so that we're ready when the actual thing happens.
What we exercised was we had our fire units arrive on the scene, and their main primary objective was to locate every passenger that was on the airplane and triage those passengers, determine what their medical status is, correctly type that status so that we could get the patients that had the worst injuries off the airfield into a hospital faster, and then also maintain accountability of all those passengers so that we know that we've got every person that was on that aircraft accounted for.
You know, that we are being as proactive and, you know, taking the fact that we take their lives very seriously, and we take the fact that they're flying through Joplin, they're coming in and out, and we take that seriously every day. We're trying to maintain that, you know, you feel just as safe flying in here as you do LAX. Like I said, because we're held to the same standards of them.
And today's exercise was aimed at preparing local emergency responders and aircraft personnel in case of an aviation-related emergency. Well, air travelers who try to board before their group number is called may want to think twice. American Airlines says it's piloting technology that would make an audible sound and display a message to gate agents when a person tries to board before their assigned group is called, and we all know that happens all the time. That passenger would then be instructed to wait their turn. Up next, the spooky season comes center stage for elementary students in Parsons, Kansas. We take you there. A fourth grade teacher in Parsons, Kansas has set the stage for Halloween, literally. Cody Holmes is known for bringing the Halloween spirit to his school, and besides decorating his home every year, he also decorates a haunted stage for all the elementary school students to tour.
Spooky and scary things seem more fun to students and kids instead of spooky and scary, and you put that all together and it just works with me.
Holmes has collected animated and interactive Halloween decor for years, and he says it can take weeks to haul items into the school and set up the haunted stage. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Bombshell interviews from Donald Trump's former chief of staff could be the boost Kamala Harris needs in the final leg to the election. Plus, they may not be old enough to officially vote, but we'll show you how students at Joplin High School are getting a lesson on politics and the election.
Shipping. Kick that rotten sleep to the curb, only at Denver Mattress.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. With Election Day now less than 2 weeks away, some teachers and students at Joplin High School are working to make sure their peers understand why voting is so important. KOAM's Anthony Saviello sits down with them to find out.
Trying to learn about the U.S. government can be a challenge.
Sometimes we face students who just don't know very much about our government and government systems.
Joplin social studies teacher Andrew Seavey acknowledges the difficulties that come with teaching students about politics.
The Electoral College can be a challenge to understand in and of itself, so teaching that is challenging. So I have a map on my wall that shows the electoral votes for each state.
That same map can be found just a few doors down, where the Joplin Student Council is working to get students excited about voting.
We are creating a ballot so that our students can vote on the actual amendments and propositions that will be on the ballot on Election Day, as well as the national presidential elections.
The mock ballot they are creating gives students who aren't yet old enough a chance to experience what Election Day is like.
I hope the students talk about what they voted for, because it just starts up a really good conversation, and I hope they realize that voting is important.
Come Election Day, Joplin students may not cast real ballots, but the experience could help them in the future.
I tell students all the time that American history and government, world history, geography, all these topics, they're going to have an influence on your day-to-day life for the rest of your life, for everybody.
In Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The mock ballots have all the same wording as the Missouri ballot, and the students who cast their mock ballots will be asked their grade level for statistical purposes. Well, Donald Trump's longest-serving chief of staff goes on the record with concerning claims about the former president's time in office, and Kamala Harris was quick to use those comments to her political advantage. In sit-downs with the New York Times and the Atlantic, retired General John Kelly called Trump a fascist and says he would govern like a dictator. Vice President Kamala Harris agreed with Kelly and added her opponent is increasingly unhinged and unstable. Kash Patel, the former chief of staff under Trump at the Department of Defense, defended the former president's record as commander-in-chief, arguing Trump ended the forever wars and was brave enough to use military assets on an expansive border to keep Americans safe. Well, millions of voters have already gone to the polls, but with the big day just 2 weeks away, America's intelligence community is warning Americans the election year misinformation is not likely to stop when a winner is declared. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more from Washington.
The election is less than 2 weeks away, and America's intelligence agencies are trying to prepare voters for what comes after the polls close. That's when the Director of National Intelligence predicts foreign adversaries like Russia and Iran will start a massive misinformation campaign designed to undermine confidence in the results, and our increasingly polarized electorate is making it easier.
The degree to which people care about statements being based in facts depends on whether they support that politician or not.
Each step of the process is expected to come under attack, from vote counting to certification, and it will likely continue through Inauguration Day. Officials say fact checkers will probably do little good at that point because of widespread distrust among most Republicans and some Democrats following the 2020 election.
Who's to say what is disinformation, right? Because a lot of, quote, disinformation, unquote, comes out to be true.
And it's already starting. A recent series of social media posts claimed Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz had inappropriate relations with a high school student. Those were later traced back to a Russian influence operation. Most experts say doing your own research is the best way to avoid being fooled by fake news.
Ultimately, this misinformation gets out because the voters condone it. You know, we do have the power in this situation.
A previous intel assessment found Russia is backing former President Trump, while Iran favors Vice President Harris. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, the leading ladies on Broadway.
Big-name divas are stepping into some of the juiciest roles in musical theater. I'm Ashley Dvorkin in New York. Coming up, a look at stars getting ready for their close-ups on Broadway.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Hey, the arts.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today and a really nice evening as well. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam looking downtown Joplin with that kind of light northeasterly wind across the region. It's going to stay breezy as we go through the night. Temperature is very comfortable, lower 60s north, Mid-60s middle, upper 60s once you get into our southern counties. Here's 7th, here's Rangeline, currently sitting at 66. Northeasterly winds sustained 5 to 10. Of course, gusts have been a little bit higher than that. And we're going to see this kind of brisk little easterly wind kind of pushing in through the night, so it makes it feel a little bit cooler than what it actually is. Now, the winds are going to switch around now to the south as we go into Thursday. In return, that's going to warm us up. But gusts anywhere from about 20 upwards to 30 or 35 once you get into our western counties. Cold front rolls through Friday morning, so the winds switch back out of the north, and we'll usher in a little bit cooler air as we head into Friday and Saturday. So not like a trash can gone forever situation, but kind of could knock over as we get some of those little stronger wind gusts. But we also have some rain chances, a few showers pushing in late tonight into tomorrow morning. A little better chance for scattered thunderstorms late tomorrow night, especially toward midnight, and then trailing off by the time we head into Friday morning. If you look outside now, there's nothing going on. We just have this weak little tiny wave just to our west. You can see a few clouds. Those clouds will kind of pick up a little bit later on tonight, and you can see a couple green little blobs popping up, showing us a few random hit and miss scattered showers late tonight into tomorrow morning. Partly sunny skies, lower 80s by noon. We're going to stop this at 4:30 in the afternoon. 85 Stockton, 88 in Pineville, 90 in Veneta, 88 in Fredonia. So near record highs as we go into Thursday afternoon. Here comes the next front. Showers, thunderstorms pop up along the front. Some of these strong, possibly severe in our far western counties will weaken as they push in and through. And the key word here, scattered. It's not going to be a wall of rain. Scattered thunderstorms work through, should be out of here by the time we head into Friday morning. That next front rolls through, a little bit cooler Friday afternoon, highs into the upper 70s. Random shower in the morning, 87 in the afternoon. Let's jump forward. 4 State, Friday night, high school football. Great weather. Temperatures sitting into the 60s by the time we head into Friday evening. Looking down the road a little bit, the weekend's looking good. Here's our jet stream, though. Watch these storm systems dipping into the west by next week. This is when our pattern really starts to pick back up, and we actually get non-boring weather in here. 87 tomorrow, 78 on Friday, 74 on Saturday, looking pretty good. Lower 80s into early next week, and then some showers picking up the second half of next week.
All right. Well, we are going to need the rain, that's for sure.
We need it for sure.
The ones of us that got a sprinkle it wasn't enough.
Nope.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up in sports, Colgan Girls Golf brings home a state championship. Plus, McDonald County and Webb City volleyball square off in the district playoffs. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
We're here to help. We are 7 a.m.
The Colgan Girls High School golf team takes home a state championship this week. After the two-day championship in Emporia, Colgan finishes tied with Silver Lake. The two of them each had exactly 718 team strokes. That forces a playoff, which the Lady Panthers win to give them the Class 3-1A state title. Now, this is Colgan's third golf state championship in the last 4 years. Colgan actually trailed Caney Valley after the first day, 2 strokes behind them. The Bullpups still put together a top 5 finish. They come in at 5th place. Here's a look at the individual leaderboard. Amelia Bowles from Rawlins County, she takes 1st place, 1 stroke ahead of Margaret Ulrich from Wichita Collegiate. Colgan has 2 top 12 finishers in Ava Skripsik and Daniela Yagmore. Molly Swayze and Lauren O'Brien also finished in the top half of the field. Addison Coombs and Kate Smith finished in 42nd and 49th place, respectively. High school volleyball district tournament play continues this week. McDonald County and Webb City square off this evening. One of their seasons will come to an end. Class 4 District 6 volleyball tournament over in Springfield. The 1 seed Webb City meets McDonald County in the quarterfinals. Lady Mustangs won last night against Parkview. Cards already up 1-0. We go in the second set. Long rally, and the Cards get it to their go-to player, Jaylee Rutledge, who slams it down for the kill. They easily win that set as well. They're up 2-0. In the third, Webb City on the serve. Check that out. Savannah Crane finds the perfect spot with an ace. Next serve. Same thing. Crane again puts it where they can't find it. Then the next serve. 3 aces in a row from Crane. Cardinals running away with it. We skip ahead. Mustangs trying to rally. They keep this point alive, but this time Crane spikes it down right at the net. There's the kill. Webb City sweeps McDonald County in straight sets, and the Cardinals move on to the semifinals this Friday. The Chiefs make some news early this morning. They've already started the season 6-0, and now they add a big-name wide receiver to their roster. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Chiefs are finalizing a trade with the Titans to acquire DeAndre Hopkins for a 5th-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Now, that pick could reportedly become a 4th-rounder if Kansas City makes it to the Super Bowl, and Hopkins also plays at least 60% of the team's offensive snaps. Now, Hopkins is a 5-time All-Pro wide receiver. 2024 is his 12th season in the league. He's accumulated over 1,000 receiving yards with the Titans back in 2023, but that production drops way down early in this season. Through 6 games, Hopkins has 15 catches, 173 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown with Tennessee. Over to college football, tough news for Mizzou fans today. The Tigers' leading rusher, Nate Noel, is reportedly out for this Saturday's top 20 matchup on the road at Alabama. That's according to ESPN's Pete Thamel. Noel is dealing with a foot injury, and he's averaging just under 6 yards per carry so far this season. He left last week's game against Auburn in the first half, came back to get just 1 carry in the second half. Back to Colgan girls golf, winning that state championship. To do it in a playoff as well after tying after 2 days, that's pretty impressive. And the fact that it's their 3rd in the last 4 years.
That is really impressive. Congratulations to all of those girls, for sure. And
of course.
That the Chiefs trade has so many contingencies with it,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting is you want to win the Super Bowl. If you do, you lose 1 round in that pick, but I think Chiefs fans would take that.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's, they're banking on making it to the Super Bowl, which of course they will. Yes.
We'll see.
All right, we're back with more news after this. A recent court ruling in Missouri means registered sex offenders are no longer required to put out signs on Halloween. The change has some parents concerned. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on what this change means and what families can do to stay safe while trick-or-treating.
Since 2008, registered sex offenders in Missouri were required to post a sign stating "No candy or treats at this residence." But earlier this month, a U.S. district judge ruled that the sign requirement violated the First Amendment by forcing, quote, compelled speech. Missouri State Attorney General Andrew Bailey announced on social media that he plans to appeal the decision, saying he wants, quote, Missouri to be the safest state in the nation for children. That includes on Halloween. End quote. According to the Jasper County Sheriff's Office, there are still other requirements the roughly 370 sex offenders in the county will be expected to follow this year.
Avoid Halloween-related activity, remain inside from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., and leave all outside residential lights during the evening hours of 5 p.m. is still required for certain offenders. We go door to door and make sure that certain offenders are doing what is required of them.
Some Missouri parents are concerned about the change because it's one less protection before their children knock.
Predators every day are looking for opportunities and for just potential victims. It could be that a child is, someone in their neighborhood trick-or-treating at their house, and they've been able to identify them as someone that they're interested in.
Bishop is passionate about protecting children, running a Facebook group with more than 10,000 followers focused on exposing child predators. She suggests for families concerned about going door to door this year to consider attending community activities like trunk or treats instead. Sergeant Katie says that for those wanting to have a more traditional trick-or-treat experience, the Sheriff's Department has resources to help families see where safer areas may be.
There's a link for sex offender information and a mapping system provided by the Missouri Highway Patrol website. And in this link, they can check neighborhoods or certain addresses to see if a sex offender lives there or not.
He urges families to keep safety in mind this Halloween. Reporting in Jasper County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Jasper County Sheriff's Office also wants to remind trick-or-treaters that they should only go out with a trusted adult. They also say you should not go into anyone's home under any circumstances unless you know them. Six-time Tony winner Audra McDonald takes on one of the juiciest roles in musical theater. Leading ladies tackling iconic Broadway roles after the break. There's no shortage of leading ladies taking on some of the juiciest roles in musical theater. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin takes a look at the newest season on Broadway.
This season on Broadway has no shortage of leading ladies taking on some iconic roles in famous musicals. Best known as the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls, Nicole Scherzinger is making her Broadway debut as faded Hollywood star Norma Desmond in a fresh take on Andrew Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard.
This time I'm staying for good.
What she's able to do on that stage is just captivating, and it is just absolutely incredible.
Scherzinger is definitely ready for her close-up. She already received high praise for her performance in the show Across the Pond, nabbing the British theater's highest award, the Olivier, for Best Actress in a Musical.
Our Helen always worrying.
Stepping into roles made famous on screen by Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn, Broadway vets Megan Hilty and Jennifer Simard play friends-turned-rivals in a musical adaptation of the 1992 comedy Death Becomes Her.
It is true musical theater comedy, gold perfection.
I had a dream.
And she's the stage mother of them all, taking her shot at one of the most iconic roles in musical theater. Six-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald is starring as Mama Rose in the 5th Broadway revival of Gypsy.
Now Audra's stepping into the spotlight, and can't wait to see what she does with the role.
In New York, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of an Aldebra tortoise at the Memphis Zoo enjoying a pumpkin treat. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.